Point Reyes became a national seashore for a good reason. The livestock grazing keeps these open grasslands, keeps these assemblage of wildlife species that love the open grasslands. It's the vistas, it's beautiful. That's why it became a national seashore.
For years, several years now, during the drought, environmentalists actually criticized the National Park Service for its management of a Tule Elk Reserve at Tomales Point in western Marin County. But recently a change was announced to that management plan that is the entire region up in arms now.
My name's Kevin Lenny, and I'm a rancher on the Point Reyes Peninsula in California. I was born and raised on the ranch that I live on in Point Reyes now. I've had only one address my whole life, and it's just part of who I am. It's always been home.
Early in 2021, the Nature Conservancy, backed by 3 environmental plaintiffs, raised $30 million to permanently remove 12 out of the 14 cattle ranches from the Point Reyes seashore. Their objective was to eliminate a practice that they deemed environmentally inappropriate for land that was nationally protected.
This current lawsuit is not the first we've seen of activism trying to remove agriculture from public land. This is the most formative. The ranches at Point Reyes that we know today, the Alphabet ranches out on the peninsula, they have persisted over the centuries because of good production, because it's a good natural resource for ranching.
There are people who say that the ranchers are good for the environment there. I personally don't believe that. I don't think the science supports that. There have been a lot of studies of impacts on the environment out there in Point Reyes. Water quality is impaired consistently. Ranching is known to bring invasive species, to deplete soil, causes erosion. There's also air quality impacts. There's a lot of methane and particulate dust and so on when you have erosion. Once the land was bought by the federal government and became a national park, now it should be managed as a national park. And national parks are not for commercial industry, especially extractive, impactful commercial industry. So I think that is the crux of the disagreement around what's happening in Point Reyes. If you read the laws about how the National Park Service is supposed to conduct itself, you read the Organic Act, you read the Clean Water Act, and so on, it's pretty clear that the ranchers were problematic there for a long, long time, and yet they were simply tolerated.
This settlement is not only affecting the ranchers, it will also greatly impact the Point Reyes community. People who live on the ranches and work in town will lose their homes and their jobs. Local children will be moved out of surrounding school districts, and government funding will slowly diminish. The economy of Point Reyes, without ranching, will be transformed.
Morning. Thank you, supervisors, for having us. I took time off work to be here, as I'm sure many others here did as well. My name is Gabriel Romo, and I am one of the individuals being affected by the displacement of the ranches on the Point Reyes National Seashore. I am here with other members of our group, the Familias Afectadas del Rancho, or FAR, as we like to say. I have lived in Point Reyes my entire life. I know no other home. It is my community. This displacement will be affecting many of the fine people that walked in with me, as well as many, many others. And we recognize the extent at which this will affect our community. Our local schools will be affected as students will be pulled to other districts. Most of the workforce of West Marin will be forced to move, quite possibly to another county.
This will deeply impact me, my family in many ways, such as having affordable housing, having a good school for my kids, having an amazing community that rallies together in good times and in bad. But overall, it will affect the community as a whole. Families that live, work, and go to school in West Marin will be forced to move out, most likely to a different county, thus increasing a racial cultural divide in West Marin community.
The Familias Afectadas de Rancho, also known as FAR, is made up of tenants and workers who are being impacted by the seashore settlement. And our goals are fair severance pay for all workers losing their employment and preventing the displacement of the tenants and workers and keeping them in West Marin. My hope is for the Familias Afectadas de Rancho to have a place to stay inside West Marin, to be able to continue working where they live, continue going to the same church, the same clinic, continue enrolling their children in the same schools, and feel like they are welcome in West Marin because this is what they know and this is what they call home.
Hola, buenos días. Mi nombre es Enrique y vengo representando la comunidad de Point Reyes y aquí a toda mi gente, particularmente el Rancho Martinelli. Estoy aquí para presentar nuestro apoyo para la organizada declaración de esta emergencia. Yo soy padre de familia con un hijo discapacitado extremadamente y que él vive el 50% de emergencias y el otro 50% vivimos con la preocupación. ¿Qué hay de vida para uno? ¿Qué se esperan los demás que vienen atrás de nosotros?
Where there was once a diverse community will become nothing more than a tourist town. Please don't let this happen to our West Marin community. Thank you.